I'm using the rest of my sweet onion, which is minced. And one thing that is important is to add the meat last to all of your other ingredients. So I have my onions. I'm going to add 1 egg because we're working with 1 pound of meat, and typically the rule would be 1 egg per pound of meat. So I have that, and if you look, I have 2 slices of bread, which a little bit of half and half is going to drip out of. I have pre-soaked these, and I poured the half and half until it just covered the bread, and that was about 30 minutes ago, and you can see the bread has absorbed all that cream. I like doing that especially with Swedish meatballs because cream is such an important ingredient in Swedish cooking. So we have this now moist bread that I'm going to break into bits, and that's going to help bind these together. So once I have all of my filler ingredients, I haven't added any spices, I am going to mix these together. Just give them a quick stir, and a fork works fine. You can use a spoon, whatever you want. And to this, I like to keep some pre-chopped fresh parsley in a container in my refrigerator. And I'm going to add probably a tablespoon of fresh parsley, a little extra. And this is going to stir together. Also, a teaspoon of kosher salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and then the spice that really gives it that Swedish flair. I'm using my microplaner. It's a great tool in the kitchen. If you don't have one, think about investing in one. I use it for everything from lemon zest to whole nutmeg. Now, whole nutmeg is something that I did not really invest in. I thought, oh, ground nutmeg, that's fine. But after seeing so many cooking shows where they used the whole nutmeg and it just gave a freshness to it that the dried nutmeg didn't, I thought, oh, I'm going to try it. I love it. I absolutely love it. To this, I am adding 1 pound of meat. I have a combination of ground pork and ground chuck. And this is one trick my grandmother taught me, who came here from Sweden, is the meatballs or the meatloaf take on the characteristic of the woman or the man, person who is making it. So I am taking my hand rather than a spoon and combining those ingredients. There's going to be a moistness to these meatballs and a lightness because I'm not going to overwork them. I'm going to just gently mix these together and then shape them into balls. In my pan, I have melted 4 tablespoons of butter. To that, I am adding the equivalent 4 tablespoons of flour. One thing that's important is that you take the time to cook the flour taste basically out. So that usually takes 30-45 seconds, and you can see it gets really thick. The color is going to change a little bit. So I'm going to turn my heat on. It had been on a medium-high. I'm turning it down to medium-low. And as Emma pans across the kitchen, you can see some of the things that I've done while we were waiting. I assembled one pizza pie. It's a basic cheese deep dish pizza. And the other one is ready for our Swedish meatball topping. And I love vegetables. I thought I would add a little green and color to it, even though it's a white pizza, by adding some chopped spinach to it. I used fresh spinach and used my food processor to pulse that for that freshness. Then I'm not dealing with all the water that I would if I had used a frozen chopped spinach. Although feel free, you just need to go through that draining process. And I'm keeping an eye on this. The color is continuing to darken. On the cheese, basically a Chicago-style pizza, the layers go from the crust to a thick layer of cheese to whatever your sauce topping may be. Typically it's tomato sauce. And then the toppings are the last layer on the top. So I'm using fontina cheese, which is a Swedish cheese, and about 1/3 of a pound per pie. And you can see I used my 9-inch cake pan. I have one of those really big Chicago deep dish pan pizzas with all of the accoutrements. It was a gift that a friend of mine gave me about 25 years ago. However, I just wanted you to see that a normal cake pan works just as well. As you can see, there's a nice soft boil on my bechamel sauce. While it was cooking, I added in 2 tablespoons of parsley, and now I am adding in my cooked meatballs. I like to do meatballs in the oven. I'm guaranteed of a nice golden brown color, and I can always add these juices if I want into whatever it is I'm using the meatballs for, whether it's beef stroganoff or Italian meatballs and spaghetti sauce. And I am going to gently move these around and coat them in this wonderful beef bechamel, which is going to be the basis of the topping of our pizza. Now that all my meatballs are in, I want to taste my sauce. Make sure that it has all of the flavors that I want it to. There's a really great creaminess that half and half gave. And I taste the beef. Maybe just a little bit more salt, a pinch or so, and another touch of pepper.